Hey guys, I started my freelancing career on Upwork and I was able to acquire $32,000 the very first month. I was at $450,000 the first year, and last year, 2019, my web development agency consulting business actually grossed $2.5 million. Okay, so I just want to show you that I'm accredited, and that's actually one of the 5 things that I'm going to show you in this video is one, take advice from people that are accredited. Okay, it's like NBA, right? You only take advice. We follow LeBron James, Kobe Bryant, people that are in the NBA. We don't really take advice from people that drop out of NBA or didn't even qualify, right? Why would we care about their advice, right? Because there is so many noise on the internet nowadays because freelancing is trending, especially what happened, tragic COVID to everyone. And now a lot of big companies are used to giving their employees option to work remote, and that makes the freelancing industry actually, growing rocket high. And so really, you really have to identify where are you getting the source, right? Are you getting the knowledge of someone making $500 on Upwork and failed in 2 months, or are you getting someone from me, for example? And there are a lot of other people far more intelligent than me, far more successful than me, based on Upwork. I'll give you guys a couple of links below at the description. You guys can check it out. Okay, and second is, in order to be successful, like when I first started, you cannot be an everything store. Okay, what I meant by that is you're not Amazon. And even when Amazon first started, they started as a bookstore. They only sell books, and they sell it to the furthest extent. They sell it so well that a lot of the bookstore got acquired by them. And that's why Amazon started branching out to toy industries, to other different sectors, right? Another example is Facebook. Facebook started in Harvard University, right? And then they branch out to MIT, they branch out to UCLA, different like pristine colleges, universities, and then they branch out to state colleges, state universities, and then to everyone. So after that, they go to different countries, right? They don't start right away like, hey, everyone in the United States come use Facebook, because that's not going to work. And that is the same mentality you should have when you start freelancing. And one more example is Uber, right? Uber is the best using, most convenient app that most people like. And the reason why, because it only has one function and one functionality only. You get a cab. You get a taxi. They take you from point A to point B. That's it. They don't advertise you about weather. They don't tell you about calendar services. They don't give you like money management tool. No, right? They give you one service and one service only. They do it so well that they're making billions of dollars. So as a freelancer, we don't need to know everything, because we can't. So might as well find that niche. That's something that we're really good at. When I started, I'm a programmer, so I started with PHP. And I was able to find out that WordPress is the highest demand market at that time, and so that's where I started. I only look for projects specifically in WordPress, and more particularly WordPress plugins. So I was able to target that niche and slowly grow, and went from horizontal scaling to other WordPress themes, WordPress payment gateways, databases, different solutions, and then I go vertical scaling afterwards. After I mastered the horizontal, I started going to different websites, different services, cloud computing, cloud engines, using Shopify, using Magento, right? So I didn't go right into it's like, hey, I can do any e-commerce website, because that is not going to work. All right. So number 3, for a lot of freelancers, new freelancers, you might do a pretty good job on creating your profile, do a pretty good job on creating portfolios, right? But then once you get a response, from someone, say Upwork, a client, you will obviously, like, we all come from the best intent to impress the client, right? We'll want to say hi, we'll want to say like, whatever to break the ice and then understand the client's need and trying to close that client. But that happened to me because I'm an international student to start. Like, I came to the US for college, so my English wasn't great when I first got here. And a lot of things you can't sound weird, meaning there are a cultural barrier, okay? Because a lot of the Upwork projects are US clients. And because I also hire on Upwork, I spent over 40,000 or close to 50,000 so far as a client on Upwork, so I know this. A lot of the freelancers that apply to my job, they will use a little different languages, right? They will say, "Hi, sir. I want to give you the best work. I respect you. Thank you so much." Like it's a little uncomfortable, okay, to someone that's a different culture, right? It's like for Chinese and Taiwanese, we don't like to talk about weather. Right? It'll be weird if you go up to a Chinese guy and say, "Hey, why don't you think it's a beautiful day out there?" They're like, "What the hell are you talking about?" Right? So you want to understand the cultural differences, and when you approach a client, approach them in their comfortable way of saying hi. Right? You don't want to say "sir" because that sounds very formal to me. I mean, maybe to some other people too. Right, so you first have to identify the right way to communicate. Okay, I'll go into the detail later. But number 4 is the cool part about being a freelancer. Right, I started there. I was able to grow my skills from just knowing WordPress, plugins and stuff, to now I know a bunch of other cool technologies. Right, the past 2-3 years I've been diving into machine learning and AI, and it's just a fantastic journey. And the hardest part about freelancing is actually not just honing your skills, right? Getting better at what you do. It's also trying to master a bunch of different stuff, right? You got to know how to do sales, to talk to clients. You got to know how to do customer support. How do you talk to existing clients? Make sure they're happy if they have any doubts, objections. You also need to know how to do marketing and branding. Right, because without those, having a cool portfolio or certain websites or social media per se, how are you going to be good at a freelancer, right? And that's what I had to do when I first started. And luckily, I had a little bit of background, so I was able to, excel pretty quickly. But for the background, I would say I have a pretty strong sales background. So number 5. The right platform. So there are like, I don't know, gazillion platforms out there. I saw a Google post the other day. There's like 78 freelancing platforms, right? So doesn't matter what kind of skill you have, as long as you have a specific set of skills, I assure you can always pretty much find a platform to work on, right? Upwork worked for me because it's very programmer friendly. I can see a lot of programming jobs on there. But for designers, you guys, best bet is probably go on 99 Design or even Upwork. I don't know, but there are a couple other places you could go to. And for more of a niche skill that you can't find, let's say, "Hey Peter, I can't find anything on there." Well, try Facebook groups, right? Try forums. Try listing websites like Craigslist, like even Twitter, right? There's a bunch of different platforms that you can go on and try it. But of course, that requires different approach, how you approach the clients, how you talk to them, because everyone on a different platform kind of thinks differently. It's like Facebook, most people use it for updates, friendly updates to talk, for business to talk to your clients. For Twitter, a lot of the business like to use Twitter as a direct communication, like surveys or like one-line quick update. Instagram is mostly show off. Right, so you got to know the different mentalities for different platforms and really experimented differently. So, I hope that whatever I cover so far, the 5 points, help you guys to get a better idea about the freelancing world. And I also spent a lot of time putting on my efforts in creating this called Freelancing Hero program. And I packed everything that I know, the tactics, the strategies, how do you find your niche, how do you identify your industry, how do you talk to customers, different sales skills into this program. And obviously it's not free, but I encourage some of you, if you're newly started or you're trying to advance your skill to the next level and get to maybe close to where I am or past me, so just come to my website, check it out. It's in the link below. And yeah, I'll see you guys on the next video. Cheers.